Hey everybody, Dockside Gamer here and welcome back to the channel. Now I'm going to be doing another basic starting point video, only this time it's with Dark Souls 2. Now I'll be going over a couple things in this video, like 1, creating your character and the different classes you can pick, 2, the tutorial area before you get to Majula, 3, Majula itself, and 4 is going to be leveling up and the different stats and some of the changes, and 5, how to unlock the blacksmith, and that's probably where I'll leave off like I did with Dark Souls 1. Now if you want to give this video a like and subscribe, that'd be great. Always happy to have you, and it's free anyways, and you can always unsubscribe if you feel like you don't like the content on my channel. No harm, no foul. So honestly, Dark Souls 2 is my least favorite of the Souls games. The style of gameplay for it is just a lot different. It's a lot more clunky than Dark Souls 1 or Dark Souls 3. The stamina in it is a major problem that, like, you run out of stamina almost instantly, it seems. And it's just, it plays different. I don't know how else to explain it. It just plays different. This game has really gotten a lot of flack over the years, and honestly, some of it is deserved, some of it not so much. Like, it's a decent game. If you compare it to any other Souls game, it's not great, but if you compare it to any other game in general, it's a pretty decent game. Alright, enough of that anyway. I will get into making your character. So you run over to the maidens and you select your name. I'm just going to name my character Basics, just, well, it's self-explanatory. Then you get into creating your character. So you have your classes here: Warrior, Knight, Swordsman, Bandit, Cleric, Sorcerer, Explorer, and Deprived. So as you can see, there is no Pyromancer to start off, as like with Dark Souls 1. And you have an Explorer class, which can be kind of, I don't know, it's like a generic class that's a jack of all trades, master of none. It starts off with a lot of items. I'm going to choose the Sorcerer just for this run, and I'm going to choose the Healing Wares just because there's not really any great options, but Healing Wares just gives you a few extra healing items at the start. Now, when you first start, after making your character, if you go up this staircase here, you'll get a chest and you get a human effigy. Human effigies work the same way as humanities did in Dark Souls 1, where you can restore your humanity and turn human. Now the main difference here is that you don't need the bonfire to do that, like in Dark Souls 1 where you needed to crush your humanity and then reverse the hollowing. In this, you just use the human effigy and you can turn human. Now if you go back before you entered the building, you can come down here, you get a smooth and silky stone. I'll get to that a bit later on. You can use those to get extra items. And now you can kind of go through, and there's another item you can get, a ring, to get just before the first house of the game. Now it's guarded by a giant, and honestly, the giant can be, it seems a little intimidating at first, but honestly, they're not that hard to kill, especially with a ranged character. If you're melee, it can be a little difficult. You just have to keep your distance, but with range, it can be pretty easy. So if you see him charge at you like that, back up. If he grabs you, he will bite you, and it'll almost one-hit you, especially early on. Now what you really want to do, you want to make him swing like that, but you want to be a little bit closer to him, and just as he is about to swing, you back up and he'll fall to the ground. Melee characters, that's your time to attack them. That's when you can get some really good attacks in. Ranged characters, just do what I'm doing here. Fire or cast your spells or something, back up, cast your spells, back up, just keep your distance. But you get the stone ring as a reward. Now the stone ring is big in this game. It will make the enemy's poise decrease at a more rapid rate when you're attacking them. That means you can stagger them a lot easier. Alright, so going back to where all the maidens are, you go back through the house and you can light a bonfire. Now this is the start of the tutorial area, in air quotes. Now you can skip the tutorial area completely. You can run right through. There's no reason to actually do it. You don't get a lot of souls. The main reason why I'm about to do it is to use the smooth and silky stone. So just watch, and I will come back when I'm at the nest where you can use the smooth and silky stones. Alright, so coming out, you see a little nest on your left. Now, this is where you drop your smooth and silky stones. Now, unlike Dark Souls 1 and 3, where they have set tables of what you drop, you get a certain item, this is completely random. Doesn't matter what you drop, smooth and silky stones, petrified something, you'll get a lot of items that you can drop. They give you a random item. Like, I got a white ring. I'm pretty sure that's a rare drop for this, but I'm not really 100% sure on that, so someone in the comments can correct me. Anyways, you kick the ladder down so you can always come back to that, and you make your way back through this area. Just keep going straight and you'll get to Majula. This is where you meet the Emerald Herald. This is your firekeeper for the rest of the run. This is where you level up. This is where you upgrade your Estus Flask, all that stuff. She's important to your run. Now, if you're going through Majula, you'll see this little side path here, and you can join the Covenant here if you want. In Dark Souls 2, there is a mechanic where if you go through the area enough times, things will stop respawning. This Covenant will negate that. This is I believe it's called the Covenant of Champions. Now, you can negate the limited respawning by joining this, and then you can have infinite respawning. So if you want to do that, that's always good. Now this well, you knock the rock down, you get a Estus Flask shard. So unlike Dark Souls 1, where you had 5 Estus Flasks right off the bat, you get 1 Estus Flask here, and that's it. So you have to, find shards as quickly as possible. This is a first easy one to get. Anyway, you light the bonfire, you can go over to the Emerald Herald, and if you have some extra souls like I do, you can go and level up once. And you can also turn in your Estus Flask shard to get 2 Estus Flasks for the rest of the run. Not the rest of the run, but to start the run, sorry. Now, I will quickly get into leveling up, because the stats are a little bit different in this than in Dark Souls 1. So in Dark Souls 1, Endurance did stamina and your equip load. In Dark Souls 2, it's a little bit different. So this has Endurance, which is your stamina, and it has Vitality, which does your equip load. Now it also has Adaptability. Adaptability is a new stat that it will raise your poison resistance and also your agility. What that means is that when you are rolling in a Souls game, you get iframes, you get those invincibility frames. In Dark Souls 2, those iframes are garbage. So if you don't level up your adaptability at all, then you're going to have some terrible luck. Now, raising that adaptability up, usually I put it to about 20, 25 or so, and you'll start getting iframes that are similar to Dark Souls 1. Now, what does that mean? That just means that when you're rolling, you'll have a little bit more invincibility when you're rolling than you normally would. That's all it means. So make sure that you're putting that adaptability up. It might seem like a useless stat, but it really isn't. It is a key stat to put up, especially if you're going to be maybe getting into some heavier fights, especially later on in the game. You're going to want those iframes. So continuing on into the first area, I guess, if you want to call it that, this is like the normal route that you want to take, especially if it's your first game. Forest of the Fallen Giants is the quote-unquote first area, like the Undead Burg, I believe it's in Dark Souls 1. This is very similar to that. The enemies are a bit easier, so you don't have to worry about getting, one shot or something. Anyway, you walk through the area, you get to this fog door, and you just keep running. Now, if you want to explore the areas before, by all means do that. I highly recommend just kind of looking around each area, making sure you collect all the items. There are some decent items to grab here, I guess. There's a lot of life gems, which are the alternative to Estus flasks in this game. That is the one good thing that Dark Souls 2 did do. Now, with Dark Souls 2, you have these life gems and you have Estus flasks. They are great healing alternatives. So that is one thing that they did do better. I will give Dark Souls 2 that. I don't give it credit for much. That is one thing I will give it credit for. Life gems are extremely good items to have. So make sure that you stock up on those, and there's different variants of life gems that will heal you for more over time. So anyway, if you're doing it normally, you shouldn't be grouped up on this little spot like I am right now. If you kill everything as you go, you'll have a much easier time. I just wanted to run through just to show you guys how to get the blacksmith, which is the final thing I will touch on before I end the video. Now, the blacksmith's door is locked in Majula. Now, if you go up to this area, the second bonfire in the Forest of the Fallen Giants, you'll see a merchant. You'll see her as I open up this door after I kill this guy. She will sell the blacksmith key. This one is definitely a good item to grab. Mostly just because having a blacksmith early on in the game, he sells Titanite shards, he upgrades your weapons, it's good to have. So this merchant here, talk to her, buy the key. I think it's 1,000 souls, so by the time you get here, you should have 1,000 souls. And then you can just buy the key right away and go back to Majula and unlock that door. So it's this key right here. 1,000 souls, buy it, go back to Majula. Before you do, actually, make sure you exhaust this merchant's dialogue. What I mean by that is just keep talking to her until she keeps saying the same thing over and over and over again. This will take her back to Majula. You want that, she'll have unlimited life gems. So you go back to Majula, you unlock the blacksmith's door, talk to him, reload the area, and there you go. You have yourself a blacksmith. That's all I really wanted to do for this video. I just wanted to give you guys a basic starting point for the game. Then you can kind of continue on from there and find your own way. If you guys like this content, be sure to like and subscribe. If you have any other questions or want me to cover more stuff, just let me know. Alright, have a great day. Bye-bye.